Hello and welcome to Vox Markets. Today I'm joined by Kirk Adams, who's CEO at Greenroc. How are you today, Kirk?
Hi, I'm very well, thanks, Zach, and good to be with you.
Well, we had, I think, an interview a few months ago, but you're all ready to rock, if that's not a bad pun or something like that. But maybe initially you could just tell us about what Greenroc does in the background to the company.
Okay, well, Greenroc is a spin-out from Alba Mineral Resources, and we are attaining all of their Greenland assets. So they've got four significant assets in Greenland, four licenses, and two of them, I think, are what I would call company-making assets, potential company-making assets. So we're taking those on, and we'll be developing them over the next few years, hopefully into operating mining companies. So that's what we're about. The two flagship projects that I sort of mentioned are, firstly a graphite project, which is called Amitsoq. It's on the Amitsoq Island, and also on the mainland. It's got another project on the mainland called Kalak, and we've also got an ilmenite project in the north of Greenland, right next to Blue Jays project, called the Thule Black Sands project.
And what's the rationale behind the IPO?
Well, what we're trying to do is we've put a team together that a team capable of taking these companies from the exploration stage, which they're currently at, through sort of final exploration, drilling, undertaking feasibility studies, and taking these companies into production. So we put a management team together who've got those capabilities, and the idea is that this team will be totally focused on Greenland and making these projects and taking these projects into production. As I say, that's the rationale. I'm, I'm a full-time CEO, and my background really is building and developing mines.
I mean, on that note, could you just run through the specifics of each of the projects that you have?
Oh yes, I'd be delighted. I mean, when I look at Amitsoq, Amitsoq historically under Alba's guidance has been it's had the definition of an ore body that along strike is about its outcrops on surface for a kilometre along strike, with an average true width of about 5 meters, and that's been channel sampled extensively to really get a sense of what's within the asset itself, and the channel sampling has come back with what I can only really describe as fabulous grades. I mean, the grades that the average grade from the channel sampling program across that outcrop on surface is coming in at 28.7% contained graphite. So it's a very, very good quality. We've had that material metallurgically tested, and it's coming out as the right material for lithium-ion batteries. It's a high purity spherical graphite that is absolutely perfect for making lithium-ion batteries. About 85% of it can be used for lithium-ion batteries, and the other 15% is the high purity spherical graphite, large flake graphite that attracts even higher prices. So we're very excited about the quality of the asset, and this year we've been drilling it over the summer period in order to put in the third dimension. And at the moment, those drill cores are being sent to our metallurgical testing center, and we're hoping to have some pretty good and interesting news coming out in the next month or so.
I mean, on that note, I mean, you've done the fundraising, and how will that feed into the drilling plans that you have?
Well, the next step really is to do further drilling on Amitsoq and also on Kalak. I mean, the exploration target for Amitsoq is between 1.7 and 4 million tons of contained graphite. That's a GROC exploration target put together by an independent geologist. We're anticipating getting some of that into a resource this year, and we'll be doing a little bit more drilling as soon as we can in order to, from the funding that we've raised, in order to sort of define that ore body to an extent that we would be able, I hope, And again, this is really forward-looking statement. I hope that we'll be able to put feasibility study, or at least a scoping study, onto that project data. And we are also using it to do the environmental impact assessments and the social impact assessments that are part of the environmental and social studies that are a requirement in order to get a mining license in Greenland. So we're moving very rapidly on that, and I would hope that within 18 months, we'll have a feasibility study of sorts on that particular project, part of the project. That's the Ametsoq ore body itself, that would enable us to think about developing and raising money in order to put a small plant that would produce up to about 40,000 tons of concentrate on an annual basis. So that's my thinking. It's very forward-looking. We're also going to be looking at the Kalak deposit, which is on the mainland, on a peninsula on the mainland in southern Greenland. And that project looks to be significantly larger, with similar sort of grades, about 25% contained graphite. And so that's also, I think, a great opportunity for, assuming we can get the Ametsoq project to start moving towards production, then we'll be able to increase the size and the throughput, in a modular way. And one of the things I think is really important that comes out of what I've just said is because it's in southern Greenland, which is at the same latitude as northern Scotland, the seas are open year round, and so we're able to access this project year round, and that allows the logistics to work very effectively in a Greenland context.
And I mean, you've got graphite sort of coming out of your ears, or well, up your eyeballs, I suppose. Looks as though, and hopefully that's the case. World demand for the stuff, and also for ilmenite, is also very high at the moment. What's driving the demand?
Well, I mean, that's a very, very good question, Zach. I mean, the graphite market, Elon Musk said a few months ago, he said that the lithium-ion battery was misnamed. And he said that because there's 10 times more graphite in a lithium-ion battery than there is lithium. And he said it should actually be called a nickel graphite battery rather than a lithium-ion battery. And he was making a very good point. And I think, what that really means, because it's absolutely true, is that the demand for lithium is growing, but the demand for graphite is growing, at a multiple of 10 times, driven by the electric vehicle market. And so, the people who project these and forecast the demand for these sort of minerals, these battery minerals, these critical minerals, are saying that they're anticipating a growth in demand for graphite and a multiple of 25 times in the next 18 years or so. So by 2040, there'll be 25 times more demand for graphite than there is today. And that's all driven by the electric vehicle market. Well, a lot of it is driven by the electric vehicle market, which we're all seeing. So I think it's a fabulous market to be involved in, because the mining industry is going to struggle to be able to meet that demand, and we think we're very, very well positioned, with our development project, to be able to be part of the fulfillment of the global demand for graphite that's clearly coming. So that's really exciting. But you mentioned ilmenite, and we've got I think the Ametsoq graphite project is a company maker, but I also think that the ilmenite project is a company maker as well. We've got a black sands, heavy black sands project in the north of Greenland, which we call Thule Black Sands. That's already been drilled. It was drilled in 2018 to a depth of 1 meter. In 2018, we drilled it with a light drill rig, which we could get across a very large area. So we could encompass the entire license area. We did about 10 kilometers strike length of drilling on those black sands, and we got an average grade there of 8.9% contained ilmenite, and with tons of, and this is GROC resource, tons of 19,000 tons. But the light drilling rig had the benefit of being able to move quickly and do a large geographic area, but it wasn't able to penetrate the permafrost layer. And now this year we've had a sonic drill rig on there. We've been able to drill to 8 meters through the permafrost, and we've drilled out a large area in the south of the project, which which will enable us to define the basement of that material and therefore increase the size of the resource. And I'm confident, of course, I can't, until we've actually got the results back from the metallurgical testing, we won't know, but I'm very confident that we're going to increase the size of the resource to a size where we will be able to hang a feasibility study on it and look at it from the point of view of how do we take this into production. And this project is a lookalike. It's contiguous with the Blue Jay project, the Blue Jay Dundas project, which is just going into production right next door, and so it's very, very similar. In fact, if you look at their maiden resource when they started this project was 23,000 tons at 8.8% ilmenite, and our maiden resource was 19 million tons at 8.9% contained ilmenite. So you can see that they're much of a muchness, birds of a feather, if you like.
Well, we look forward to how the birds of a feather will fly over the next few months, and Greenroc does on the stock market. In the meantime, Kirk Adams, CEO at Greenroc, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Zach. Good to talk.